So, today we're diving into a really powerful story from an ancient Buddhist text, the Sutra on Aṅgulimāla. And honestly, it's a story that pushes the limits of what we think about forgiveness and asks a pretty radical question.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Can someone who has committed the most horrific acts imaginable truly find redemption? Not just be forgiven, but actually reach enlightenment? Well, this isn't just some philosophical puzzle. It's the very heart of the story we're about to explore.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in the kingdom of Śrāvastī, a place that is completely paralyzed by fear. Daily life has pretty much ground to a halt, and it's all because of one man. That man's name was Aṅgulimāla. Now, the text here calls him a great evil thief, but, that feels like a massive understatement for what he was actually doing. His name tells you everything you need to know. Aṅgulimāla literally means garland of fingers. He got that gruesome nickname because he would kill people and then he'd take a finger from each victim to string onto a necklace he wore. This wasn't just random violence. This was a ritual of terror. The fear he created was so intense that entire villages, even parts of cities, were just abandoned. People were absolutely desperate. You can just imagine them pleading with their king to do something, anything, to stop this nightmare. And right here, in the middle of all this fear, is where our story takes a wild turn. Because into this landscape walks the one person Aṅgulimāla could never, ever have expected to see, the Buddha himself. You've got to picture this. Everyone he passes, farmers, woodcutters, you name it, they're all begging him to turn back. They're telling him that even huge, armed groups aren't safe on that road. But the Buddha, he just keeps walking. No fear. Alone. Straight into the heart of the killer's territory. So, Aṅgulimāla sees this lone monk and thinks, okay, this is going to be easy. He draws his sword and he takes off, running at full speed. But then, something completely impossible happens. The Buddha just keeps walking at this slow, calm pace, and Aṅgulimāla can't catch him. I mean, this is a guy who can outrun charging elephants and speeding chariots, but he literally cannot close the distance on a slowly walking monk. He's exhausted, he's completely confused, and finally, he just screams out in frustration, telling the monk to stand still. And the Buddha's reply, it's incredible. It's not about walking or running. He says, I have long since stopped. He means he's stopped the violence, stopped the killing, stopped creating all this suffering. And then he says, it is you who have not stopped. You're the one who's still running down this path of hatred. And that one single sentence just completely shatters the killer's whole world. And that was it. That one profound statement was all it took. In that single instant, the entire course of Aṅgulimāla's life changed forever. The murderer's weapon just clatters to the ground. The man who had made so many people bow to him in terror now gets on his knees, bows at the Buddha's feet, and genuinely asks to leave his old life behind and become a monk? I mean, look at this comparison. It's a complete 180. He's no longer Aṅgulimāla, garland of fingers. He's given a new name, Gaga. The murderer becomes a monk. His sword is traded for a simple begging bowl. His entire identity is just reborn. And this wasn't just some superficial change, Through serious dedication and practice, the man who was once a killer actually achieves the highest spiritual goal there is. He becomes an arhat, a fully enlightened being, totally freeing himself from that endless cycle of death and rebirth. But here's the thing. Becoming enlightened doesn't just magically wipe the slate clean. Gaga might have found his own inner peace, but he still had to live in a world that remembered the monster he used to be. And you get this incredible contrast in how people react. First, you have King Pasenadi, who had literally assembled an army to hunt and kill Aṅgulimāla. He sees him now as this peaceful monk and is just stunned. The king who wanted him dead now bows to him and promises to support him for life. But then, you have the townspeople, the families of his victims. When he goes to beg for food, they attack him. They throw stones, they beat him with sticks, and he's left a bloody mess. When he gets back, all bloodied, the Buddhist response is so interesting. He doesn't offer pity. He offers perspective. He explains that the pain he's feeling right now is just a tiny fraction of the karmic debt he created. He's basically saying, endure this, because this suffering is the direct consequence of your past actions. You're paying it off in this lifetime instead of over eons in a hell realm.
So the final piece of his transformation doesn't come from enduring pain. It actually comes from an act of deep compassion, which really becomes his defining moment.
One day, while he's out on his alms round, Gaga sees a woman in the city going through an agonizingly difficult labor. Both her life and her babies are in real danger. He feels this immense compassion for her and rushes to tell the Buddha. And the Buddha gives him this really strange instruction. He tells Gaga to perform what's called an act of truth. He's supposed to say that since his noble birth, he has never intentionally killed anyone. Now, Gaga is confused. He's like, wait, what? I've killed hundreds of people. But the Buddha clarifies, his noble birth wasn't his physical birth. It was the moment he became a monk. The old self, Aṅgulimāla, is gone. The person standing there now, Gaga, has truly never harmed a soul. So Gaga goes to the woman and recites those words. Empowered by the sheer truth of his incredible transformation, a miracle happens. The mother gives birth, and both she and her baby are safe and well. In the end, the man once known as a monster receives the highest praise from the Buddha himself. He is declared the foremost among all the disciples in swift wisdom, the amazing ability to grasp the truth and transform your life in a single instant. This ancient story really leaves us with a profound question about who we are and what we can become. Is anyone truly beyond saving? The tale of Aṅgulimāla seems to suggest that maybe, just maybe, even a life defined by unimaginable darkness can be completely reborn by a single moment of truth.